At the dawn of the 17th century, Europe found itself on the edge of transformation. A movement was taking shape, one that would revolutionize how people viewed the world, their governments, and their own potential. This was the Age of Enlightenment. It was a period of profound intellectual awakening, a time when reason, science, and the quest for human rights became the guiding lights of society. The Enlightenment would pave the way for modern democracy, science, and secularism, forever changing the world. The seeds of the Enlightenment were planted in the earlier scientific revolution, where thinkers like Galileo Galilei and Nicholas Copernicus challenged centuries of established thought. Galileo's observations through the telescope and Copernicus' theory that the Earth orbited the Sun shook the very foundations of human understanding. But these revelations were not without opposition. The Catholic Church and other powerful institutions still held firm control over knowledge, and many of these thinkers faced persecution for their radical ideas. However, their discoveries planted the intellectual seeds for the Age of Enlightenment. By the 17th century, these early scientific revolutions and the quest for truth began to inspire a new wave of thinkers who sought to apply reason and logic to every facet of human life. Society, politics, and knowledge itself. At the heart of the Enlightenment were its towering intellectuals, philosophers who questioned traditional authority and believed in the power of reason. John Locke, for instance, proposed groundbreaking ideas about government and human rights. Locke's theories on natural rights emphasized that individuals were born with inherent rights to life, liberty, and property, which governments must protect. This notion would later become central to the foundation of modern democracies, including the United States. Voltaire, a sharp critic of the French monarchy and the Catholic Church, championed freedom of speech and the separation of church and state. He famously declared, "I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." Voltaire's advocacy for tolerance and civil liberties echoed throughout Europe. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, meanwhile, focused on the idea of the social contract, the notion that governments derive their authority from the will of the people, not divine right or hereditary privilege. Rousseau believed that true freedom could only exist when individuals participated in the collective will of society. Montesquieu's The Spirit of the Laws proposed the idea of the separation of powers, a concept that would heavily influence the structure of modern governments, ensuring that no single branch of government could dominate the others. The Enlightenment did more than just inspire intellectual thought. It ignited political revolutions. As thinkers questioned absolute monarchy, divine right, and the power of the church, the foundations for political change were laid. One of the first examples of this political shift was the American Revolution in 1776. Enlightenment principles, especially those espoused by thinkers like Locke, heavily influenced the Founding Fathers. The Declaration of Independence, with its emphasis on the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, was a direct product of Enlightenment ideals. Similarly, the French Revolution in 1789 was driven by the ideas of equality and the need for a government that represented the will of the people. The French Revolution sought to overthrow centuries of monarchical power and establish a republic based on Enlightenment principles of equality and individual rights. Salons across Europe became hubs for intellectual debate, where men and women alike gathered to discuss politics, science, and human rights. These gatherings helped spread the Enlightenment's ideas far and wide, from France to England and beyond. But the Enlightenment was not just about politics. It also sparked a scientific revolution. Isaac Newton's discoveries in mathematics and physics, particularly his formulation of the laws of motion and gravity, set the stage for modern science. Newton's work, which appeared in his Principia Mathematica, laid the foundation for the scientific revolution. In medicine, advancements like the development of vaccines and the study of anatomy challenged centuries-old beliefs. The Enlightenment thinkers emphasized empirical evidence, experimentation, and rational thought, rejecting superstition and dogma. Printing technology played a crucial role in spreading these revolutionary ideas. Books, pamphlets, and newspapers became more accessible, allowing knowledge to spread quickly and challenge established norms. The written word was the key to democratizing ideas in an age of intellectual awakening. The impact of the Enlightenment is still felt today. Its core values, reason, individual rights, and freedom of thought continue to shape the world. The principles of democracy and human rights that underpin much of modern governance find their roots in the ideas of Enlightenment thinkers. In science, the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason and observation led to countless breakthroughs, from space exploration to medical advancements. The scientific method, which emerged during this time, remains the foundation of how we understand the world around us. Moreover, the Enlightenment's legacy lives on in our commitment to secularism and the separation of church and state. It laid the groundwork for a world in which education, inquiry, and the free exchange of ideas are essential to progress. The Enlightenment marked a turning point in human history. It was a time when reason, science, and human rights were placed at the forefront of society's concerns. It transformed the way we think, govern, and interact with the world around us, creating a legacy that continues to influence us today.